Are they coming in, Kelly?
Yes, everyone is in.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday. We are so honored that you would join us today for our CEO and Joe. We have two very special CEOs with us this morning. So I hope you've grabbed your cup of Joe, your cup of coffee, and settle in for some exciting updates from both the Players Center for Performing Arts and also Mote Marine. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I think everyone continues to join us, and we'll continue to welcome people. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're going to start off this morning by introducing William Skaggs, who is excited to have moved here from Sarasota. He moved here in September of 2020 to join the Players Center for Performing Arts as their new CEO. He is a two-time graduate of Western Kentucky University with a BA in music and an MBA. He embraces a broad view of the value of the arts to a community via entertainment, education, and the economic impacts. Prior to the Players, William's career has included work as Chief Development Officer for Southern Kentucky Performing Arts Center, concurrent appointments as Director of Annual Giving and Director of Alumni Resources at WKU, and also as a financial advisor. In addition to his Players family, and I know we've got Morgan Gerhardt with us this morning, William's family includes his beautiful wife, Jenny, and amazing children, Ben, Madeline, and Julian. And of course, we can never forget the cute puppies, Maggie and Molly. So everyone, please join me in welcoming William to share all of the exciting things happening out at Waterside and with the Players Performing Arts Center. Good morning, William.
Good morning. So pleased to be here, and thanks to Heather and her team for the invitation and the ability to come share with you this morning. So excited to do so, and excited to be here and also here again in a few minutes after I'm done from Dr. Crosby and the great things going on with Mote as well. So with that, I guess, Heather, should we just jump right in? Let's see, I'm going to share my screen here and hopefully get confirmation that we're good on that.
Yep, looks great, William.
Great, thank you. Well, what I did want to do is, she mentioned Waterside, and we are going to touch on that. Anytime I have the opportunity, though, I've got to make sure that we talk a little about the Players more broadly, and what we do about our mission and our work here in Sarasota. So with that, then yes, the Players Center for Performing Arts, where passion takes the stage. And you know, mission is important to us. Every organization talks a lot about their mission, but we take it very seriously, and also it's concise. We want to entertain, educate, and engage the community through high quality live theater. And I hope you leave this morning understanding the many ways that we do that and the impact it has on you and our community here in Sarasota. Now, with that said, not that we're in the same room and everybody can directly answer, so I'll answer it for you here in a second, but the founding year for the Players. Give a second for you to think. Some of you may not realize it was 1929. More than 91 years ago, the first performing arts organization here on the coast. So we're very proud of that history and what it means with us moving forward. Now, Heather mentioned in the intro, value for community. We take that, as I said, extremely seriously, and we think about it through education, through entertainment, and certainly economic impact as well. Because those need to be top of mind for us at all times. When we think about our mission, these fit perfectly within that. And so we'll touch a little bit on those. Entertainment, obviously, we do an immense amount of musical theater. The Players and their large-scale musicals, that is well known here in the community. A lot of traditional, non-musical, if you will, theater as well. Shows that are traditional that you know, as well as new ones. Indoor, and especially these days, a lot more outdoor theater. And we're proud to say we're going to keep doing that as well, and keep that as part of what we provide almost year round in here in Sarasota. Again, quality is important to us with your experience when you visit us, as well as what you're going to see on the stage, the experience that you have at our productions, the opportunity for you to see those performances, opportunity for actors from this region to join us on our stage, for our other volunteers to join us as well. And certainly, as we mentioned, the value that we provide in a lot of ways, the value of your experience, the value for the community. Education. This is the 25th year for the Players Studio. And so I really want you to think about the impact of a place like the Players Studio. Being inclusive, diversity is important, health and wellness. And certainly we do things across the board, whether it is vocal training, acting, dance, full-scale productions of, with children and youth doing musical theater, several hundred students a year, and more than half of those take more than one class. So a lot of very engaged students and families with us. I want to mention as well, one of the bullet points you see there, nearly a third of our students are on scholarship of some amount. And that may be partial scholarship, that might be the whole thing, because here at the Players, when it comes to our studio, we never turn away a student for their inability to pay. I literally experienced last fall, soon after I got here, story of a family literally ending up in tears because we called them and let them know that their child was going to be able to attend classes here at the studio. So very impactful. Now, Quincy Jones, some of you may know that name. If you don't, I'll tell you, he's won 28 Grammy Awards. So I think he kind of knows what it's about when it comes to music and the arts. And I love this quote from Quincy Jones talking about the importance of arts in education, because it doesn't just train you in that discipline, it trains you for life, and in many, many different ways. I always have to include this photo when I get these types of opportunities. I absolutely love this. Look at those faces and the number of children and youth on this stage when the Players presented Rock of Ages. Now, the funny thing about that is the kids had to learn the whole show, but all their parents knew the songs. So the parents could have hopped right on stage with them. But economic impact, and I'll touch a little bit more on this later when talking about the project. But here in Sarasota, the Cultural Coast is something, that phrase really spoke to me when I was researching not only the Players, but this community, and if this was a place that I wanted to move with my family. And that was really important to me, not just the Players, but that we were in a community that is so amazing when it comes to arts and culture. And so what you see here is something that is out of the ordinary for a lot of communities. The arts is very important across the nation, but the economic impact in an area like this, when you talk about more than 8,700 full-time equivalent jobs, and I will say this work was done pre-pandemic. So, if we took a snapshot today, it might look a little bit different. But again, the impact has been there, and it will be for many, many years to come. Now, we've already said it, so some of you might have caught it and realize, or maybe you knew before, where will the Players be building their new theater? And as you might imagine, we are extremely excited about that. I'll go ahead and tell you today, we are looking at breaking ground in the spring of 2023. And you may think that sounds like a while, but after a pandemic, a delay for more than a year, then we've got a little work to do, a little catch up to do. And part of that, frankly, our appearances like today of reminding people about the players, about where we are, and about where we're going to head with each of you in this. So, so let's move off this slide and show you. This will be the new home in Waterside Place, the Waterside district of Lakewood Ranch. This photo is actually from February. So it even looks better today. I was just out there last week, and the streets and sidewalks are nearly complete. Major construction is done. They're preparing to hand over sites to the tenants that are coming in. So yes, that big white rectangle you see there, that's where we will be building and where you will see this. So we, as you might imagine, are extremely excited. Now, a few things about the facility. Approximately 480-seat proscenium theater in this facility, a 200-seat black box theater in the building as well, 3 dance and rehearsal studios. Let me pause there for a moment. Those are not just any dance and rehearsal studios. Our plan is that right now, many of you know we're in the Rosemary district downtown with our studio. That's going to stay right here in downtown Sarasota. And we will expand our studio operations and operate in Lakewood Ranch as well to provide even more educational opportunity for children, youth, and yes, adults as well in Lakewood Ranch, as well as right here in downtown Sarasota. A 3,200 square foot lounge, administrative offices, and obviously back of house support, a lot of behind the scenes types of things. But we're very blessed as well to already have in place a 10,000 plus square foot facility up on 10th Street here, where we actually house our scene shop, our costume shop, and lots of storage for, as you might imagine, the decades worth of accumulation of costumes, of props, of furniture, of sets, of all the things that make the magic happen on a stage. So we will maintain that facility as well. No need to go build something new. We're going to continue to have that here and utilize it as well. Now, maybe some of this slide is really what's most important about this project in many ways. I mentioned we were first on the coast, and now we'll be the first large-scale performing arts venue in Lakewood Ranch. And so we're very proud to be able to do that. Certainly a convenient location right here in Sarasota County. We basically sit in between University Parkway and Fruitville Road. They're in the Waterside Place development. And so very convenient, easy to get to for our current patrons, as well as the many new patrons that will join us. And then this new facility, we've been known primarily for the productions that are ours, right? The things that the players produces and puts on their stage. We now have an amazing opportunity to broaden our collaboration with other organizations in the community, because with this new facility, we can be an amazing performance space for a lot of organizations that don't necessarily have a permanent home, and they don't necessarily want one, that they have to have and maintain themselves, but to know that they could come to a brand new state-of-the-art performance facility and also call it home is important. And as you might imagine, that's also impactful in the economic impact realm as well. Because when we think about those performances, when we think about the possible space for, not only arts performances, but, lectures, meetings, rehearsals of other groups, all of those types of things, well, that means that ultimately we're bringing 75 to 100,000 people through our facility each year. So it doesn't take a whole lot of thought to figure out what that means for many of our businesses around us and in this community. It means we create an immense amount of activity, which will help drive economic growth in the areas that we serve. So that's, again, that's extremely important to us. And it's not just because I'm talking with Chamber of Commerce members. I'm very consistent about that. Anybody who has spoken with me or maybe seen me at another place knows that that's important to us and the work we do. And so with that, we do hope that you will join us in the various spaces that we are and have been and will continue to be performing around Sarasota and with our studio. And also keep an eye out. I mentioned that we've got a little catch-up work to do from our delay that we've had for a while. And so, you know, as we move into the summer, then you're going to begin seeing a lot more about the players. And we want you to be engaged. We want you to be informed. And ultimately, we want you to be involved. And whether that is involved individually coming to a performance, involving your business in some way because we can provide value for you as well, then keep an eye out, keep an ear open, and we hope to see you at the theater. At this point, happy to take any questions you may have. And again, I really appreciate the time here today.
Oh, great. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I just wanted to ask, William, to me, you guys have been doing some incredibly creative things, partnering with the Bazaar at Apricot Lane, which Kim Livingood is one of our board of directors.
Right.
You've been doing a lot of creative things out in Lakewood Ranch, kind of engaging some of those spaces, the polo fields, and I think it was the Bob Gardner Park. Can you talk a little bit about some of those creative partnerships?
Would love to. Thanks for the question. And hey, everybody should know I did not plant that question with Heather. She's just that good. No, so what she mentions is has been a really exciting thing through the pandemic, because when you are a theater and what you do is produce and have people come to your facility and you can't do that anymore, that's really tough in a whole lot of ways. And it's not just because you can't sell tickets. Performers want to be on stage. Those who are producing for them, they want to do those types of things. And so the energy all of that provides, it gets tough. People want to have those opportunities. And so what we've been able to do is take, matter of fact, you know, we were one of the first performing arts organizations to kind of be back on stage back in October. Heather mentioned the Sarasota Polo Club. We were out there with the Legends of Sleepy Hollow, and then we traveled to the Bazaar on Apricot and Lime beginning in December and have done a number of shows there. We have been down at Marie Selby Botanical Gardens for a performance and have another one coming up there. And so what we have found is people are really enjoying that, and we are as well. And obviously, it creates challenges, but I think challenges are good. They allow us to grow. And so with our team, that's certainly been the case as well. And so as we move into our 92nd season, Heather, we're actually planning to continue to do outdoor performances as part of our entire season. So we will look at moving back indoors and doing more traditional performances in that way, but we're going to keep the outside as well and make sure that we help bring the performing arts all around Sarasota County.
That's great. Any, you want to let us in behind the curtain of any upcoming things or any, where can we find you in the coming months?
Certainly, and some of that, I can't go too far behind the curtain at this point, but what I can tell you is we do have another performance coming up in late April at Selby Botanical Garden. Now that one is sold out. If you want to get on the waiting list for Day to Night, another Broadway on the Bay performance, please do so because sometimes we can help people out with that. And we have some performances, well, even tonight, I should mention, Bad Auditions by Bad Actors is a show that opens at the Bazaar in Apricot and Lime, and it's actually our players' teams. So they are doing this show, and it is absolutely hysterical. There are a few tickets remaining on that one. Should you want to do something tonight or tomorrow, then we would love to have you join us. Now, I mentioned our 92nd season, and that's probably where Heather was kind of hinting. And so we have been working very diligently, in some cases more diligently than I want to have to end up in a performance space that can serve us for the next few years while we construct our new theater. And so for a while now, I've been thinking, hey, within a week or two, I can announce that. And we're just not quite there yet. But very soon you will hear where our home is going to be for the next few years, and where, beginning in October of 2021, you can see our new 92nd season.
Well, that's fantastic. You're going to need to keep us posted so that we can share the news of where you're going to be for that season to all of our chamber members. So, not seeing any additional questions. Let me just double check in the chat. Gosh, just lots of praise, William, for the work that you're doing and your team at the Players Center for Performing Arts. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead now and introduce our second speaker of the morning, who is joining us from Virginia. He's visiting his family up there, his son and grandkiddos. So thank you, Dr. Crosby, for taking time out of precious family time to be with us, to be with your chamber family today. But to introduce Dr. Crosby, he came to Mote Marine after following appointments as the Associate Vice President for Research and Economic Development at George Mason University and Vice Chancellor for Research at the University of Hawaii. Prior to those appointments, he served in a federal senior executive service position as Executive Director of the National Science Board in Washington, D.C., the Senior Advisor for International Science Policy, and Executive Director for the Science Advisory Board of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. He obtained a master's in biology with honors from Old Dominion University and a PhD in marine estuarine environmental sciences at the University of Maryland. He's currently on several boards and has served as president for several national and international science societies. He also serves on the Chamber of Commerce board here with us. And in May of 2013, after serving for 3 years as Mote Senior Vice President for Research, the board at Mote appointed Dr. Crosby as the president and CEO of Mote Marine Laboratory and Aquarium. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michael Crosby to give us an update on all things Mote.
Well, good morning, Heather, and happy Easter to everyone. It's my pleasure to join you all. I was very interested and excited to hear William talking about all the exciting things going on with the players. I think that's wonderful for our community, and congratulations on really helping to launch a whole new era, if you will, for the players as well. This is a pretty exciting time for our entire community. There's a lot going on. There really is. Despite our travails of over a year with a pandemic, this community has really come together, I think, very, very well. I'm very proud of the role that the Chamber has played. Heather, your leadership has been instrumental in that regard, and all the wonderful staff that we're fortunate to have there at the Chamber as part of the family. I'm really honored to serve as a member of the board of that great organization. After nearly 7 decades, I suppose, we're going on 67 years now with Mote. It's a point in time when we're really looking far beyond a vision of 2020 and looking into the future. And we're looking for how we can do a much better job at Mote, not only in expanding our research enterprise, which is truly a global powerhouse, but also taking our innovative approaches in STEM education and making it much, much more accessible to a much more diverse makeup of our community and visitors from all around the world. And, you know, when I came to Mote about 11 years ago, as you mentioned, Heather, one of the first things I noticed were the people. Mote is truly like a family. It's an incredible organization when you think it's grown from that one scientist that started the place, Dr. Jeannie Clark, to we now have over 260 staff, 24 very diverse research programs, 6 different campuses that stretch from Sarasota down to the Keys. We've got 36 PhD level researchers. We're as large, if not larger, than most major universities' entire colleges of marine science. And it's really, it's the most amazing feature of Mote is the people that make up the Mote family. The passion, the dedication that they have for their mission is just incredible. And when we look at our mission and why we do what we do, it's because the ocean is really calling out to all of us. The oceans today are in a pretty dire situation. We have whole ecosystems like the coral reefs down in the Florida Keys that are slipping into functional extinction. We have fisheries that are collapsing in front of us while the demand for seafood and protein continues to rise. And science must provide the answers for how we can sustainably utilize these resources, restore whole ecosystems, bring species back from the brink of functional extinction, and to help succeeding generations really be able to enjoy the oceans like I was able to as a young boy living in the Keys. And so one of the things that we need to do is expand our research enterprise. Our City Island campus is a remarkable location for a marine research laboratory. It's probably not the best location for a major visitor attraction that is bringing in hundreds of thousands of visitors every year. And any of you that have tried to get across the Ringling Bridge, especially during season, know what I'm talking about. And that bridge serves as a barrier for accessibility. It wasn't until 1980 until Mote had an aquarium, and Mr. Mote decided we needed to translate and transfer the science that we do to help the public understand the importance of the science, but also to help increase the overall level of ocean literacy amongst the public so that we all understand the connections that we have with the oceans, no matter where we are, inland in Florida, in Nebraska, in the middle of Africa. We're all connected to the oceans, and it's so important that we learn about that. So in 1980, Mr. Mote decided we were going to have that informal science education center, which has grown into what we all refer to as the Mote Aquarium. It's a wonderful educational facility, but we need to make it much, much more accessible than it is now. And so we are entering into this really transformative era of making our education opportunities, our STEM education opportunities, much, much more accessible. We were very thoughtful and deliberate in our research, feasibility studies to determine the site that is out at Nathan Benderson Park, where we are going to build the new Mote Science Education Aquarium, or Mote C as we refer to it. And it's an incredible new facility in terms of its accessibility. When you think about that location, there are within a 60-minute drive time of that location, there are over 3 million residents, not tourists, residents that live there. So people are going to be able to get to that location much more easily than they're going to be able to get to City Island. We're forecasting that the visitor levels will go from something around 320 to 340,000 visitors to the aquarium every year to something on the order of about 700,000 visitors. When you think about that facility, it is so much more than an aquarium. We're going to be utilizing 21st century technology to have virtual and augmented reality. We're going to be placing people actually within the environments of the ocean. There's going to be over 1 million gallons of seawater in that facility, over 100,000 square feet. But science is the attraction. Science is the attraction. And education is a primary role for that facility. When you walk in the front door, you'll be immersed in science, but you'll also see front and center 3 state-of-the-art STEM teaching laboratories that we are going to be building as part of this Science Education Aquarium that are going to ensure that every single child in this region, every child, no matter what school you go to, and we all know that there's a few schools that are very, very fortunate. They've got the financial capabilities to have some incredible assets for the students of those wonderful schools. But we know that the overwhelming majority of children in our region never are able to experience that kind of science education program. So those teaching labs are being constructed in close partnership with the local school districts. We're working closely with both Sarasota and Manatee County school districts to ensure that those 3 STEM teaching labs, and they're going to focus on the science that Mote does: biomedical research, microbiology, immunology. Another lab will focus on marine fisheries, aquaculture, coastal ecology. A 3rd STEM teaching lab is going to focus on ocean technology, engineering, robotics, artificial intelligence, programming, sensor development. Those children K through 12 are going to have hands-on experiential learning that they would never otherwise have. And we are going to provide that absolutely free of charge to every school in this region. We will be reaching at least 70,000 students, K-12 students, as part of their structured classes that come in for that every single year, free of charge. But beyond that, we want to make sure every child's family has the opportunity, especially folks from lower socioeconomic situations that aren't able to afford the price of a ticket to Mote. So we have committed that we will provide a day pass for every student and their family at every Title I school in Sarasota County. Every Title I school student is going to get a day pass, not just for that child to come, but for that child to come with their entire family. So the family has a learning experience in this wonderful informal science education facility. And when that happens, when we're able to transform our innovative STEM education programs and this wonderful new attraction out there to Nathan Benderson Park, we immediately turn our focus to the evolution of our City Island campus, where we will add an additional 60,000 square feet of state-of-the-art research infrastructure as we evolve that campus into an international marine science, technology, and innovation park. It'll be a hub of innovation where entrepreneurs and scientists around the world will come, and it will serve as a catalyst for the evolution of incredible intellectual property that will be the foundation for this entire region in Southwest Florida to become a Silicon Valley of marine science and technology, a blue economy that is far beyond fisheries and aquaculture and visiting the beach. And as wonderful as those things are, but it will be based on the intellectual property that comes out of that science. So our vision is to enhance and increase the accessibility of STEM education, as well as enhancing the ability to grow the ocean literacy amongst the public from all around the world that come to visit, and also to grow the science enterprise, the research enterprise at our City Island campus. And I can probably go on and on and on for hours. But for those of you, we did break ground, officially had a groundbreaking in November of last year. And it was quite exciting. They actually let me get in an excavator and start digging, which I'm a little boy with a big toy then. That was a lot of fun. And since then, folks perhaps have been looking and saying, well, what's going on out there? Well, a lot has been going on. Quite a lot has been going on. Everything from coring surveys to make sure to demonstrate for permitting that all of the soils are right. You may have noticed a bunch of large piles of dirt out there beside the University Town Center Mall. That is close to 140,000 cubic yards of dirt that will form the platform, the base of the new Mote C. So there's a lot going on. You'll be seeing some signs. I think literally as I'm speaking, the signs may be going up out there to give notice to folks who have been using a lot of that grass area on the north and west side of the lakes as parking. We're going to be fencing that off here before the end of this month, because you're going to start to see some earth movers and other things out there. So you're going to begin to see much more action going on, but a lot has been going on with the county as well. We have taken over responsibility of that plot of land there, that 10 to 12 acre area now, and you're going to be seeing a lot more action. And by the end of this calendar year, we'll be done with the site preparation work. And that's when we're aiming to have that building begin rising from the ground. But like I say, I can babble on for a while about these things. And I've had too much coffee this morning, so I've had my Joe, Heather.
Well, that's good. Can you talk a little bit about the economic impact? Because the numbers that I've heard in presentations from you in the past, it really is unbelievable. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, during the construction phase itself, site prep and the construction of the building as well, there's going to be anywhere from about 160 to 200 jobs that will be out there at the site. During the construction period of about 2 years, we'll be looking at about a $280 million economic impact to the region. Once the ribbon is cut and we're actually open and operating, which we're expecting will be by the winter of 2023, we'll be having an annual economic impact of $28 million a year to the region. And there'll be about 260 or so jobs that will be either directly or indirectly associated with the aquarium. And by the way, this is just the aquarium, just the Mote C. Okay, the research enterprise actually has a far greater economic impact than Mote C. But this new facility is going to have some incredible economic impact for the region for decades and decades and decades.
We've got a couple of questions in the chat. We'll go ahead and start working those in. One of the questions is, will classes be available for adults, to be able to pay to attend a class or a lecture?
Yeah, I like to say Mote STEM education is for kids of all ages from K through gray. So you got hair the color of mine. Yeah, you're part of the education programming there. Absolutely. We're going to have all kinds of opportunities. This, in addition to the 3 STEM teaching labs, which we will use for adult education, continuing education, just folks that want to learn more will be doing that with adults when the classrooms aren't in there. But we are also, as part of this aquarium, having a significant multi-purpose room in which we'll be having lectures out there on a daily basis. We'll be having opportunities to engage very directly with our scientists, whether they're in the 500,000 gallon Gulf of Mexico tank, you can talk to them, or whether our scientists are at on a coral reef in the Gulf of Aqaba with our Israeli, Saudi, Jordanian, and Egyptian colleagues all conducting joint research there. You'll be able to interact with them directly halfway around the world. So there's going to be many, many, many opportunities for children of all ages, K through gray.
Oh, you know, you touched on it a little bit, but I always like to remind people, and I actually get asked this question quite a bit, and you did speak a little bit to it, but you know, the campus that is currently out, you know, where it is now, and you talked a little bit about research. Will there be opportunities to explore that facility still, or will the main tourist attraction be the one at I-75 and Nathan Benderson Park?
Well, in terms of numbers and volume of visitors, the Mote at Nathan Benderson Park at 700,000 people a year, the numbers will be much, much higher there, orders of magnitude higher. But we get so many requests from people in the community and visitors to actually tour the labs themselves, that as we evolve that campus, we do plan on having daily tours that won't be necessarily a walk-on tour, but will be scheduled, and we'll have people that will walk groups through, because the research infrastructure that we're going to have out there is going to be like no other in the world. For those of you that are familiar with the current aquarium, just as an example, you know, we have 130,000 gallon shark tank that you're familiar with out there. Well, I get super excited about the thought of actually sealing the top of that and having that become a giant respiration chamber that we can do scope for growth on whole pelagic communities. There is no facility like that in the world. Right now, scientists have to sort of do the old black box unknown calculation with a slide rule and calculator to try to figure out the energetics of those kinds of communities in order to develop fishery management plans. Think of what we'll be able to do if we can get real numbers by creating a very unique piece of infrastructure. We'll be attracting scientists from all over the world there, and people want to see that kind of infrastructure. In addition, we're going to keep some things out there for the public to see. Our turtle hospital, our manatee rescue rehabilitation, marine mammal rescue rehabilitation programs are going to grow on the City Island campus, and we'll have continued small scale things for people to see, whether it might be some of the otters, maybe Old Baby. We're going to have a few things there that you'll still be able to come and visit. And of course, the eco tour visit boat operations will continue as well.
Oh, that's great. We've got a question in the chat. Will the animals be moved from City Island to sea, to the new location?
Yeah, most of them will. And this will be, unfortunately, because we have to have a transition period with the animals, and we have to be very, very careful throughout this whole process so that the health and well-being of the organisms that are in our care, we have to really take that as a very, very high priority. There'll be a time of a couple of few months where the aquarium on City Island will be closed down for the most part while the animals are transitioned to the new facility. The building, the new Mote C, will be up long before it's open to the public, because once it's up and constructed, 1 million gallons of seawater need to go in, the massive life support systems, the engineering behind this is phenomenal. But the life support systems, we got to make sure all the water is exactly right in each and every different tank, whether it's for penguins or whether it's for sawfish or whether it's for manatees. It's all got to be just right. Then the animals have to go in and acclimate before we ever are able to open for the public. So there's going to be a period of time that the City Island Aquarium will be, for the most part, closed down before Mote C is open to the public again. We're hoping it's only a couple of months. It might be 3 or so.
Great. We did have one more question in the chat, just referring to if you could mention how the STEM classes will be more than just a quote unquote field trip. And that, you know, these STEM things are going to be really integrated into the curriculum.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. We love field trips. We have school groups that come through on field trips all the time. We're working with all the different schools, homeschools as well. We work very closely with the homeschooling community as well. But we're working very directly with the school systems, with Sarasota and Manatee County school systems in particular, to ensure that the curriculum development is actually going to address and meet all of the core criteria for experiential learning at every level, whether you're in 2nd grade, 6th grade, 9th grade, 12th grade, at all the different levels. The teacher will come in with his or her class. They will come into the laboratories, whichever one that they're going to that day. All of the state-of-the-art equipment will be there. We'll have one of our educators that will be there every day. One of our scientists, one of our world-class scientists will be in those labs every single day. And the curriculum is being developed to meet both the state guidelines and requirements as well as the federal level. And we hope beyond the minimum requirements as well. So it's very, very important for every school to be able to have their child have this experience. Most of these kids are never going to grow up to be a scientist. They're going to grow up to be a doctor, a lawyer, a plumber, an electrician. Whatever they might be growing up to be, it's so important that they understand and appreciate science so that they can make informed decisions themselves as they grow up. And you never can tell. 1 or 2, maybe they'll be like that little girl in the 1930s that went to an aquarium in New York City for the very first time, fell in love with the ocean, really wanted to learn more, and grew up to be Dr. Jeannie Clark. There's going to be one, at least one, and hopefully many more than that will grow up to be incredible scientists. But everyone needs to understand the importance of science and the connections we all have with the ocean.
Oh, well said. And it's amazing how, you know, arts and culture and science really do connect. When you talk about STEM or STEAM education, all of these things go together so well. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. You both of you gave such a great comprehensive overview. It sounds to me like 2023 is going to be an incredible year when we think about the Players Theater opening, Mote opening. I know we've got some other projects here regionally that are going up, coming up out of the ground. It's really a great place to be able to live and work in our community. I want to thank everybody so much for joining us this morning. I'm going to turn it over to Brittany Lamont. We have some very exciting things happening here at the Chamber. First and foremost, our Small Business Awards. Brittany, you want to share a little bit about things that are coming up for us? I wish everyone a wonderful holiday weekend.
Thank you so much, Heather, and good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Great to see you all virtually. As Heather mentioned, our upcoming Frank G. Berlin Small Business Awards are happening on June 25th, and we have just opened the application process for that. We have 8 categories we'll be awarding, and we have a new one this year, which is a woman-led business. So I encourage you guys to all go online and take a look at the applications. They're really 5 to 8 short answer questions, so not a huge daunting task, but for anybody who's experienced Small Business Awards with us, you know it is great visibility and just a beautiful event to recognize our members in the community. A couple other events we have going on. Our next Shoemaker Chamber University is going to be on relational networking, and that is April 8th. So I know as we're getting back in the networking game, whether it's via Zoom or in person, there's some great tips and tricks for that. And then our next in-person, our State of Community. So I know a lot of you guys have logged on for those virtually. We have brought those back in person. and that is happening on April 27th at the Carlisle Inn over lunch, and that will actually be an update on the city and county. So we'll be hearing from Marlon Brown and Rob Lewis on that. So, or Jonathan Lewis, I apologize on that. So anyway, look forward to seeing you all. Visit sarasotachamber.com for updates on that, but have a wonderful Easter and thank you guys.